Hello friends, you've just unlocked another chapter of the past, hidden, untold, and waiting to be discovered. This is Buried Truths. Let's view the video. Top 15 Greatest Conquerors in History. 1. Genghis Khan. Born as Temujin on the Mongolian steppe, Genghis Khan united nomadic tribes to form the largest contiguous empire in history. Through ruthless discipline, brilliant cavalry tactics, and a complex spy network, he reshaped Eurasia and decimated enemies from China to Hungary. He established a legal code, promoted trade, and introduced a meritocracy. Despite his brutality, he encouraged religious tolerance and protected the Silk Road. Cities under his rule prospered, and his influence spanned centuries beyond his death in 1227. His armies slaughtered millions, especially during the conquest of Khwarezmia and Baghdad. Still, his innovations in mobility warfare and logistics remain a blueprint for military strategists globally, solidifying his dominance in world history. Even after death, his empire expanded under his descendants. Cities like Beijing and Samarkand flourished under Mongol rule. Genghis Khan's DNA reportedly exists in 16 million men today, proving both his legacy and vast dominion. 2. Alexander the Great. Alexander III of Macedon conquered the Persian Empire, Egypt, and parts of India by age 30. Tutored by Aristotle and raised by Philip II, he created a world empire through tactical brilliance and fearlessness in battle, never once tasting defeat. He used phalanx formations combined with cavalry charges and precise logistics. At Gaugamela, he defeated Darius III's massive army with a fraction of the force. Alexander's charisma made his army loyal beyond measure. He founded over 20 cities, most famously Alexandria, and spread Greek culture across Asia and Africa. Hellenistic civilization was born, fusing East and West in philosophy, art, science, and governance, thanks to his global vision. Alexander died at 32 in Babylon. Though his empire fragmented, its influence lasted for centuries. His unprecedented ambition reshaped civilization, earning him eternal fame as one of the greatest conquerors in recorded history. 3. Tamerlane. Tamerlane, also known as Timur, emerged from Central Asia to build a brutal yet brilliant empire. Claiming descent from Genghis Khan, he conquered Persia, India, Syria, and parts of Russia, often leaving behind cities reduced to ashes and skull pyramids. His military genius was unmatched, using fast cavalry strikes and psychological warfare. The 1398 sack of Delhi was catastrophic, where hundreds of thousands were killed and wealth carted back to Samarkand to build his capital. Yet Timur patronized scholars, artists, and architects. Samarkand flourished as a cultural beacon, with madrasas and mosques rising from conquest-funded wealth. He blended savagery with civilization in paradoxical fashion. Though his empire collapsed quickly after his death in 1405, his legacy shaped the political landscape from the Ottomans to the Mughals. Timur remains both admired and feared as a symbol of conquest without conscience. 4. Napoleon Bonaparte. Born in Corsica, Napoleon rose through the chaos of the French Revolution to become emperor. A military prodigy, he conquered much of Europe, defeating coalitions and redrawing borders through legendary victories like Austerlitz and Jena. He revolutionized warfare with mass conscription, rapid movement, and corps organization. His Napoleonic code transformed law across continents. He crowned himself emperor, defying tradition, and sought a unified Europe under French influence. Despite setbacks in Spain and Russia, he remained formidable until the 1815 defeat at Waterloo. Exiled to St. Helena, he died in isolation, yet his legend only grew, studied by generals from Clausewitz to Eisenhower. Napoleon's legacy endures in law, nationalism, and military strategy. He once declared, "Ability is of little account without opportunity." Few seized opportunity like him, reshaping Europe's map and mindset forever. 5. Cyrus the Great. Cyrus the Great founded the Achaemenid Empire, conquering the Medes, Lydians, and Babylonians. His conquests united East and West, creating one of the first multicultural empires known for tolerance rather than tyranny. He freed the Jews from Babylonian captivity and was revered in the Bible. The Cyrus Cylinder proclaims religious freedom, considered the first human rights document in history, now stored in the British Museum. Unlike typical conquerors, he allowed local customs to flourish. Satraps governed provinces with autonomy. His capital, Pasargadae, reflected Persian dignity and administrative brilliance, blending architecture with authority. Cyrus died in battle but left behind a vast empire stretching from the Aegean to the Indus, respected by allies and enemies alike. He's remembered as history's most benevolent conqueror. 6. Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar was a Roman general whose conquest of Gaul brought immense power and wealth to Rome. His daring invasion of Britain and victory in the Gallic Wars showcased his unmatched leadership and strategic brilliance on foreign soil. In 49 BCE, he crossed the Rubicon River, igniting a civil war. He emerged victorious, declared himself dictator, and enacted reforms to strengthen the republic. His centralization of power threatened the Senate's authority, ultimately leading to betrayal. Despite declaring Veni, Vidi, Vici, Caesar's rule ended abruptly when he was assassinated on the Ides of March. His death marked the fall of the Republic and the birth of the Roman Empire under Augustus. Julius Caesar remains a pivotal figure in Western history. His reforms, calendar, and military accounts endure. Though he conquered enemies with force, his political conquests reshaped the world far beyond the battlefield. 7. Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab, R.A. Umar ibn al-Khattab was the second caliph of Islam and led one of the most astonishing expansions in world history. Under his rule, the Rashidun Caliphate spread into Persia, Byzantium, Egypt, and the Levant with lightning speed. He was known for justice, simplicity, and effective administration. He guaranteed safety to non-Muslims, including Jews and Christians, notably during the peaceful conquest of Jerusalem where he refused to pray in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Umar established the Islamic calendar and initiated reforms that structured future Islamic governance. His rule maintained order across vast and diverse lands through integrity, consultation, and fair treatment of conquered peoples. He was assassinated in 644 but left behind a unified, just, and expanding Islamic empire. Revered by Muslims and respected by historians, Umar was a conqueror whose ethics matched his battlefield triumphs. 8. Augustus Caesar. After Julius Caesar's assassination, his adopted son Octavian rose to power. Known as Augustus, he defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra, becoming Rome's first emperor and founder of the Roman Empire, transforming history permanently. Augustus maintained peace through diplomacy and force, initiating the Pax Romana, 200 years of relative stability. He reformed taxation, built roads, and sponsored infrastructure that helped solidify Roman control across Europe and North Africa. He styled himself as a humble leader, rejecting the title of king while holding total authority. His blend of republican tradition with imperial reality created a lasting political blueprint for future rulers. Augustus died peacefully in 14 CE. His reign marked Rome's golden age. Through calculated conquest and clever governance, he turned Rome from crumbling republic into a majestic empire that defined an era. 9. Attila the Hun. Attila the Hun ruled over a confederation of fierce nomadic tribes and launched brutal campaigns across the Eastern and Western Roman empires. Known as the Scourge of God, he was feared throughout Europe for his ferocity. He invaded Gaul, Italy, and the Balkans, leaving devastation in his wake. His diplomacy was cunning. He demanded tribute from Rome, threatening destruction unless paid in gold, and made emperors tremble at his demands. Despite his terrifying reputation, Attila was defeated at the Battle of the Catalonian Plains, halting his advance into Western Europe. His sudden death in 453 led to the disintegration of his empire. Attila remained symbolic of chaos and terror. While he ruled through fear, his campaigns exposed Rome's vulnerability, accelerating its downfall and reshaping Europe's political future. 10. Suleiman the Magnificent. Suleiman the Magnificent ruled the Ottoman Empire at its zenith, conquering territories in Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. His reign was marked by both military dominance and cultural renaissance. He captured Belgrade, Rhodes, and most of Hungary, and laid siege to Vienna. His powerful navy ruled the Mediterranean, while architects and poets flourished in Istanbul. His empire became a global powerhouse. Suleiman introduced legal reforms, earning him the title, the lawgiver. He unified Sharia and state law, and expanded education and architectural brilliance, especially under Mimar Sinan's masterpieces. He died in 1566 during the siege of Sijitvar. His legacy endures in art, law, and geopolitics. Suleiman was a conqueror who wielded both sword and pen, bringing glory to the Ottoman name. 11. Akbar the Great. Akbar ascended the Mughal throne at just 13 and transformed India into a powerful, unified empire. Through conquests and diplomacy, he brought Rajput kingdoms, Gujarat, and Bengal under his control. He married Hindu princesses, abolished discriminatory taxes, and encouraged interfaith dialogue. His court featured scholars from Islam, Hinduism, Jainism, and Christianity, earning him respect across religious divides. His administrative reforms created a centralized bureaucracy, integrating locals and standardizing taxation. He also patronized the arts, commissioning grand architecture like Fatehpur Sikri, and nurturing Mughal miniature painting. Akbar died in 1605 after a reign of nearly 5 decades. He left behind a stable, rich, and diverse empire. Akbar's genius lay in conquest through wisdom, tolerance, and cultural fusion. 12. Mahmud of Ghazni. Mahmud of Ghazni led 17 invasions into India, plundering temples and defeating powerful kingdoms. He aimed to spread Islam and amass wealth, targeting rich cities like Mathura and Somnath. He used advanced war elephants, Turkish slave soldiers, and swift raids. Despite brutality, he also patronized scholars and poets like al-Biruni and Ferdowsi, enriching the cultural legacy of Ghazni. His campaigns left deep impact on the subcontinent's political map. He never established long-term control but destabilized northern India, paving the way for future Islamic rulers like the Delhi Sultanate. Mahmud died in 1030. His reign was marked by contradiction, devotion to faith and knowledge, yet ruthless conquest and destruction. He remains a controversial figure in South Asian history. 13. Francisco Pizarro. Francisco Pizarro led the Spanish conquest of the mighty Inca Empire in South America. With fewer than 200 men, he defeated thousands of Inca warriors through deceit, superior weapons, and exploiting a civil war between rival Inca factions. He captured Emperor Atahualpa by ambush at Cajamarca, demanding a massive ransom in gold and silver. After receiving it, he executed Atahualpa, triggering panic and collapse of organized resistance across the Inca heartland. Despite being illiterate, Pizarro founded Lima and governed Peru as a Spanish colony. His brutal methods enriched Spain but devastated native populations through violence, disease, and forced labor under colonial rule. Pizarro was assassinated in 1541 by fellow Spaniards over disputes in power. Though ruthless, his conquest permanently altered the course of South American history and marked the rise of Spanish imperial dominance. 14. Hernán Cortés. Hernán Cortés dismantled the Aztec Empire using a tiny force of Spanish conquistadors and thousands of native allies. His bold expedition to Mexico began illegally, but it changed history with the fall of one of the world's largest indigenous empires. He was welcomed into Tenochtitlan by Emperor Montezuma II, but soon took him hostage. Following the massacre at the temple, Cortés fled during the La Noche Triste, but regrouped and laid siege to the city. Tenochtitlan fell in 1521 after a brutal siege, with thousands dead. The once glorious city was razed, and Mexico City rose from its ashes. Aztec culture and religion were violently suppressed under colonial rule. Cortés returned to Spain disgraced, despite his enormous conquests. Though controversial, he initiated centuries of European dominance in the Americas and left a legacy of both ambition and annihilation. 15. Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was not a traditional conqueror but led Nazi Germany into the most destructive war in human history. His invasions of Poland, France, and the Soviet Union reshaped the world, initially through lightning-fast warfare known as blitzkrieg. He quickly overran Europe by 1940, creating a vast empire of fear and suppression. Hitler's rule was marked by extreme racism, dictatorship, and the genocidal Holocaust, which claimed 6 million Jewish lives. His invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941 stretched German forces too thin. Defeat at Stalingrad and the Allied D-Day landings began Germany's collapse. Berlin fell in 1945, ending the Third Reich. Hitler died by suicide in his bunker. Though he briefly conquered Europe, his ideology brought death, horror, and total ruin. He remains history's deadliest dictator, not a glorified conqueror but a cautionary tale. Thanks for watching Buried Truths. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden corners of history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more powerful stories from history's hidden vault. See you in the next video.